Excuse me. Would you look at that? The NASCAR website actually works this evening, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? Takes 2 days, but it works, I guess. It's extremely frustrating on the night when I want the results and I want my statistics and it doesn't work. So, anywho, um, good evening or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. Atlanta slash Echo Park Speedway, whatever you want to call it. I'll say Atlanta for the most part. Not quite used to the new name, for being completely honest. Um, but hold on, some article just popped up in regards to Will Brown at Chicago. Oh, okay, never mind. It's I can turn this on now. Good evening. I think that's. Oh, well, I'll adjust. Yeah, there we go. Better. Cool. Yeah, there was just an article on Will Brown and his NASCAR adventures, and the headline. I don't think clickbaity is the right word, but it says like unusual. It said like it was a Speed Cafe article. It said unusual circumstance could keep Will Brown from racing at Chicago. I think it was something like that. And I was like, what in the world? What are they talking about? They were talking about the entry list for Chicago. Technically, he could miss the race in terms of if he doesn't qualify, like if he crashes in practice or something. So, yeah, no, I mean, we'll talk about Chicago later. We will have a DNQ at Chicago. It's very rare to have a non-Daytona DNQ. In fact, this will be the first race since 2018, the AAA Texas 500. That was the last time we had a non-Daytona 500 DNQ, but we will talk about Chicago later. We are here currently to talk about Atlanta. Hello, did this work? Okay, that did work. Very good. But good evening or morning for some of you. Mate, is it afternoon yet in New Zealand, Andy? Horsefly 1020, hello. David says he picked Chase Elliott. Good job on your Monday pick last week, David. Of course, Chase Elliott was the winner of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta, his home track. So, yeah. Yep, Horsefly. We'll talk about Chicago here in a bit. I was going to pull that up as a tab, but I was too scared. Rolando, hello. Welcome. So, Atlanta. I have the NASCAR website working here. Denny Hamlin made a point of saying the NASCAR website doesn't work, so my voice is not loud enough to get things to change because I'm nobody. But if Denny Hamlin saying the NASCAR website's broken, they got to get on that, because when it's Sunday night or Saturday night in this case after the race, I just want the website to work so I can have my statistics, so I can have my results. I would like to be able to use it. And NASCAR.com on Sunday nights or Saturday nights sometimes just doesn't work, and it's extremely frustrating. I would like it to work. So now I can look at my beautiful statistics. I can look at how many laps people ran. I can look at the laps led. I can look at the points. It's so beautiful right now. Just wish it worked 48 hours ago. So, or a little bit less, 45 hours ago. I think would be a little bit more accurate, but welcome, George, from Prescott, Arizona. Yes, we will talk about brackets. Mine is doo-doo, to put it nicely. Look at all those X's, but I still have my champion, Chris Buescher. So that's nice, but 3 of my final 4 are out. So the instant Buescher gets eliminated, I'm shredding this. Like, it'll be cooked officially. I mean, it's already cooked. I only got like 4 in the first round, right? But yes, George, there are 0 perfect brackets left. In fact, I want to talk about that first. Welcome, Micah. Welcome, Zero Apex. David, hello. Denver, hello. But okay, first thing, George brings up the bracket. Let's look at the bracket. So this is something I think is a really cool idea, to have an in-season tournament, an in-season bracket, because sometimes in NASCAR, the summer can get a little bit stale. You know, the way the season works out, you got that first part of the season, the hype of early season. You've got some big tracks up in there. You got Talladega in April. You got, Martinsville's there, Bristol's there, all the big name tracks, the tracks that everyone loves. But then it used to be the summer would hit, and it was kind of predictable. Like, it was like, oh, okay, the summer's here. We go to Michigan. We go to Pocono. We go to Pocono again. We go to Michigan again. Watkins Glen's in there. Sonoma's in there. That's kind of fun, I guess. So the summer used to get really stale. Now that we've kind of come into this rotation of tracks, we shuffle up the schedule every year. It's become less stale, I would argue, with things like Chicago. We've thrown Nashville in there. But sometimes that staleness does sometimes still hit, if that makes sense. So this in-season challenge, this in-season tournaments kind of spices the summer up. It doesn't have any impact on the championship, which I love. It doesn't even impact the points at all, which is cool. And there is a big prize for whoever wins this thing. It's $1 million. So I think it's a really cool concept. However, I will say, the first race being in Atlanta, I think NASCAR got what they wanted here. They got a bunch of upsets. However, in the future for this tournament, once again, love the concept. Love that we're doing this. I think it's really fun. But let's not put a super speedway as the first race, because think about it this way. This is very comparable to March Madness. March Madness, a very similar head-to-head bracket going down to the 16, to the 8, to the 4, to the 2, where we get a champion. Looks very similar to this. And the big thing about March Madness is the upsets. When UNBC beat Virginia, the first ever 16 to beat a 1, it took forever for that to happen, decades for that to happen. It was such a big deal. It was a historic moment that's still talked about here today, and it's been like 6, 7, 8 years, however many years it's been. Only 2 16s have ever beat a 1. But when NASCAR has this in-season tournament, and they make the first race a super speedway, for the first tournament in history, we see the 1 seed get eliminated by the 32. If this was at Pocono, if this was at Michigan, if this was at Nashville, Charlotte, a more traditional oval track, we would rarely see the 32 beat the 1. It would take a mechanical failure, a late race restart. Maybe the 32 just has godlike speed that week out of nowhere. And it would make it more special. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take away from Ty Dillon and his team. They did a great job all night. They finished in the top 10. They had a fantastic evening. But it's more in terms of the 1 seed. Denny Hamlin gets wiped out on lap 69 in a 23-car pileup. And all of a sudden, and look, the seeding is whack. My 2 biggest complaints about this thing are the seeding process and where they started it. Other than that, I love this concept. Think it's super fun. Think it's super cool. There have been a lot of people who just hate the whole entire thing. I am the opposite. I only have those 2 complaints. NASCAR fans, we love to complain about stuff. But, look at this. When we look at the standings, the regular season championship right now, first in points, William Byron, eliminated. Second in points, well, Chase Elliott's technically second in points now, but at the time, second in points, Kyle Larson, eliminated. Denny Hamlin up in the top 5 points, eliminated. Christopher Bell up in the top 5 in points, eliminated. These are some of our big names, our big stars. I'm not saying rig the tournament for them, but I'm saying if we want to make our drivers, the faces of our league, bigger, superstars, like household names, we got to give them the opportunity to do that, Once again, I'm not saying go out and rig things for the big names, like for Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, but I'm saying make it more possible, I guess. I'm trying to think of a better way to say this because it sounds bad the way I'm saying it, but the in-season tournament opener being in Atlanta just really messed everything up. And all of a sudden, all the upsets that happened, they kind of don't feel like upsets because 20 of them happened at once. So love the concept, love the idea. It's super fun. It's super great if you ask me, but we only have 1 winner left in this thing, and it's simply because he won the race on Sunday. So, if we had Larson, Byron, Blaney, whoever up there, it's okay, people know these names. These guys are making names for themselves, and not to say that other people aren't, but once again, I think you guys understand my point. So, yeah, my bracket's toast, as is everyone else's, because there are literally 0 perfect brackets left, according to NASCAR. Micah says, thrilled for Chase Elliott. People have been giving him crap all of this year about him not winning. He finally broke through and quieted the haters. Yeah, Chase Elliott, obviously a huge day for him. He picks up his first one in 2025, and one of, I would say his best race of the year. I know Martinsville was a really good race. I think he led 40-something laps in that one, but, there's 400 laps in that one, so that's a very small percentage compared to 41 of 260. But, hold on. Make sure to hydrate, everyone. It's the summer. It's hot, at least here in the U.S. of A. Point being that this was probably his best race of the year. And when you look at 2024, his one win was his best race of the year. I would argue Texas. I'm trying to think of other races that he was even close to performing at that level last year. Martinsville in the fall, he was really close to winning. Michigan, I think last year he led a bunch of laps. So they have random moments where like they're up there, they're competing, they're leading laps, but it doesn't happen enough, I guess. But they don't have bad races either. Like they don't run worse than 15th on speed and they don't crash. Like Denny Hamlin talked about in his podcast, while Larson, Hamlin, Byron, they may have more speed than Elliott at times, like consistently better. They also have the flip end, which is the DNFs, the crashes. They push too far on certain limits and they end up wrecking. They have too many mistakes and they end up finishing in the 30s. They have DNFs, whereas Chase Elliott's worst finish this season is 20th. 2-0. He has never finished worse than 20th this year. And as a result, despite him only having one win on the year, despite him, not even having a stage win on the year, when we come over to the points, he is second. Because look at that juicy 0 next to the DNFs. 0 DNFs. And Tyler Reddick, similar thing. Reddick, I don't know what their worst finish is. We can look at his stat profile here in a bit. But when we go to Chase Elliott, I mean, look at this. This is incredible. He's done it for 2 straight years now. He hasn't crashed. He hasn't had bad days. They've had meh days, but this is a meh day for them. A 15th at Daytona, a 20th at Atlanta, an 18th at Homestead, 16th at Texas, 15th at Kansas did not reflect that day. They led laps in that race. They scored stage points. Look at that. They scored 40 points on the day. So, I mean, they're good. They're extremely consistent. And while they may not have the speed of Larson, of Byron, and Hamlin, and Bell at the times, the fact of the matter is they get the job done in terms of finishing, which in 2025, unfortunately, does not mean a lot because the regular season champion, the season-long championship, doesn't mean a thing. The fact of the matter is that this can get them through the first couple of rounds of the playoffs like it did last year, but when it comes to the round of 8, when it comes to the Phoenix race, you got to win. So right now it's all pretty, it's all juicy, it looks great, and the Atlanta win was fantastic. He drove out of his mind yesterday. So as you said, Micah, it was a huge day for him. He has been getting questioned a lot this year in terms of, are him and Alan Gustafson the right fit, or blah, blah, blah. They're not right, whatever. Well, they just went out yesterday and showed people, hey, we are right for this. We are doing well. And they just won. So, oops. Oh, Klaus NZ, welcome to the membership. Thank you. I appreciate you, Klaus NZ. I know you're going to want to look at the fantasy standings here in a bit. We will look at that, but I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Klaus NZ. Looked at that. David Hardy says, really frustrating here in Australia for the weekend. The USA app's not available here to watch practice and qualifying from Chicago. Even using VPNs can listen on Min Radio. So, unfortunately, David, I can't help you there. Don't know how Australian television works, how Australian streaming works. I could give you the times if you wanted to try to figure out. In fact, Red Bull, the Red Bull 888, whatever they're called, in supercars, they posted the schedule on Twitter of the Chicago street race since Will Brown's in the race. So if you want the timing, that's there. It's like 3 a.m. Australia time. So if you get up for that, like round of applause, holy crap, you're dedicated. But as for finding it, I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Denver says, can't wait for the Supercross heavyweight fight between Will Brown, SVG, and Chicago. I predict these two will put head-to-head show. Yes, Denver, we will get to Chicago in a bit. Zero Apex, same story for you. David says the big one was crazy. Yeah, man, the big one was crazy. I mean, look at this. One single crash took out, okay, Blaney was in a separate incident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 cars were taken out, like completely, right on the spot. They were done on lap 69. Or Barry, I guess, made it another lap. Denny Hamlin got an extra couple laps in late in the race to make up a couple of points. Also involved in that wreck, I mean, if we come up through here, I think John Hunter Nemechek was involved in that wreck. Gregson was involved in that wreck. Kyle Busch, I know, was involved in that wreck. Austin Dillon was involved. Custer was involved. McDowell, Larson, McLeod, like half the freaking field, more than half the field was involved in this wreck. Let's see here. Ty Dillon beat your favorite driver. Yes, Ty Dillon did beat your favorite driver. If you are a Denny Hamlin fan, very funny quote, and Denny did laugh at this joke. Oh, nope, that's for later. Here we go. So Denny Hamlin, if you guys did not know, one of the races he won, he came out of the car celebrating, woo, just won, and he says, hey, I just beat your favorite driver, which was like a super hard quote, as the kids say. Really funny, really cool. And then he said it again like a few months later, and it was kind of like, okay, we've heard that one before. I guess it's your catchphrase now. But then his dad told him to stop using it. Then he used it again. So Ty Dillon beats Denny Hamlin in the first round, and he gets out of the car and he says, all you Denny fans out there, I just knocked your favorite driver out. So very funny by Ty Dillon to say that. If you ask me, I think it's a great thing to see. We saw it throughout the weekend, or I guess just really Saturday afternoon. I think it was Reddick and someone else, Austin Dillon, I think. So they did the driver intros. They sent the 2 drivers out who were head-to-head in the tournament. And so Reddick, he looked at Larson during the driver intros, and he did a thumbs down. Austin Dillon did the same to Chase Elliott. And then Michael McDowell and A.J. Allmendinger had a fake fight before the race, which I thought was really funny. Like, A.J. Allmendinger had an energy drink. I think he's Celsius. And they were fighting, and he's throwing the drink everywhere, like just making a mess. Like, I love that people are playing into it. The drivers are playing into it, getting some trash talk out of it, getting this kind of thing. So from that aspect, I think it's really fun, really cool. Gives the drivers another chance to kind of show their personality. Like, I don't think there's a quote Ty Dillon's ever said that's been this cool, you know, in terms of anything regarding the racing and whatnot. So I love that Ty Dillon said this. I think this is super fun. Good for him. He won. He beat Denny Hamlin. He's able to brag about it a bit, kind of poke the bear in terms of the Denny Hamlin fans, because Denny Hamlin seemed to enjoy this. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool, really funny. So good for Ty Dillon. Next tab. We'll talk about that in a minute. Hello, Borderline Briar, in between the lanes. Next year should be winners of the 2025 automatically qualify for next year's tournament at Denver. It's I don't know, the in-season tournament. I think I don't think they're going to do that. That's more of like an all-star thing. The in-season tournament, though, I don't think it's. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, for sure, Clausen Z. A very exciting race. I love that race. I saw some people calling it like the best race of all time, or like the best race of the next gen era. I don't know if we're going to go that far, but it was a fantastic race. I'm not going to deny that. I think it's a race of the year contender this year. I would put it up there with Michigan, Charlotte, Coda. I'd say those are my top 4 right now, and I don't want to order it right now, but I would say those 4 are my top 4. Yeah, Todd Gilliland, if we come over here to the standings, we had Chase Elliott statistics. Yeah, I thought Todd Gilliland would be leading that group. I had him in the playoffs before the year, winning a race at a super speedway. Unfortunately, not quite that. Front row they don't seem as fast as they were last year. You know, we got Zane Smith up here in 25th, 28th Todd, and then we got Noah Gragson struggling in 33rd. And it could be the fact that they've expanded their operation, losing Michael McDowell, a veteran presence, Travis Peterson, that duo. Like, I think that's a big deal. Like, the team shifted from a veteran presence, a multi-time race winner for them, and now they got 3 very young drivers who've never won a cup race. And then you also have to factor in the expansion. You have to factor in it's their first full year, I think, as a Tier 1 team. And then I think you gotta factor in the lawsuit. What is that lawsuit doing, you know, in terms of in the back of people's heads? What is it doing to them financially? So I think there's a lot of different aspects you got to look at for sure. But I would say they're not quite where they were last year, but every once in a while they'll show up. Like I think Todd Gilliland had a top 10. Where do you have a top 10? He had 2 top 10s on the year, so he got a couple of them. Maybe it was Darlington. I think it was Darlington because I was there maybe. But Martinsville. Okay, so Darlington, he was 14th. 10th at Martinsville and 10th at Coda. Okay, so there we go. Let's see here. I forgot about that, Micah. Yeah, Chase Elliott led a bunch of laps at Homestead last year. In fact, that's the reason. So Chase Elliott was my preseason championship pick because of that. He led a bunch of laps at Homestead. He led a bunch of laps at Martinsville, and I think he led some laps at Phoenix. Like, what? That was so random to me because Phoenix and Miami have not been great to him in the next gen era. Martinsville, he's always been good at. But I would look at that and I was like, oh, they're carrying momentum into 2025. And I was like, okay, championship pick. They have not quite backed that up. Only 136 laps led on the year. But they're in the playoffs now. They're once again extremely consistent. They're up in the top 2 in the points. So they're still really good. Just they need some more juicy playoff points, as I'd like to put it. Mike Wallace, hello. Welcome. You are moving up in the fantasy standings again, my friend. Well, Clausen Z, I appreciate you. So, thank you for the support. Yeah, in fact, let's do it. So my bracket, I went all in on Team Penske, which included the Wood Brothers car. I picked all of them to advance. They all get involved in that crash. And I doubled down, and I put them all in my fantasy lineup, which, of course, went horribly. And then I made my picks. I think I went 0 for 4. Yep, 0 for 4. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Nee, you won the race. Congratulations. I finished 21st, so there's the results of the race. Right above me. Up there. So I don't even know why I try sometimes in this, but it's all about having fun at the end of the day. Dunkin' Donuts is our leader. Klaus Van Gissenbergen falls to second, unless they've been swapping the lead so much this year. I can't even remember who was leading the week before, but these two in an insane championship fight. And here comes, all right, expat _ Kiwi _ Mike _ Wallace sneaking up in third place. Mike missed the first 3 or 4 races of the year. I remember at the beginning of the year when he first joined the fantasy league, he said, okay, I missed the first few races. I'm still going to come back and win this league. And I was like, Mike's not going to win this league. Well, Mike is only like 172, if I did that right? 162, 72 points off of the lead. So, yeah. In conclusion, Mike's got a real shot at this thing. Then we got Zerkman 95 in 4th. Fantastic Priest is tied for 4th. Wow, we got a tie for 4th. How about that? Aussie Matt is 6th. RT Racing 7th. Matt Smith 53 is 8th. Hell on Wheels 24. Dan the Jets fan, our defending champion. Zero Apex Tyler Hernandez 6 is 12th. Micah MLB 15 is 13th. Oscar Dave 14th. 15th is me. so that sucks. 16th is Crackler, 17th is Dr. Zero, 18th is David Jerry 24 fan, 19th is Sportswagon, 20th is Jamie, who by the way is a lifelong Logano fan, 21st in the points is Nee, who just won the race, which if this was the NASCAR playoff system, Nee would be in the playoffs. Hack Dash House is 22nd, Space Wrangler Racing, Supercar Nut, Tritech, JTF526 is 26th, Rebutted, and we got our people who have not filled out their entries. So, yeah. There's our fantasy league. I know what my lineup's going to be this week. It's going to be Shane Van Gisbergen, Will Brown, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs. Who's going to be my fifth pick? I don't know. We'll get to it. But hey, Mike, Clausen Z, I'm going to start posting my fantasy roster on the membership page thingy, so you guys will get to see that. Basically, that's just going to be telling you who not to put on your roster, because I'm bad at this. So, I don't know. Seems fun. But that's the fantasy standings. Yeah, it gets worse for me. Continues to get worse. Yeah, Denver. So, guys, tonight, no SVG recap. If you missed it, I did it last night. A rare Sunday afternoon where I had nothing to do, so I went, watched the race replay, did the SVG recap last night. Go check it out if you want to. Speaking of things you need to check out on the channel, more self-promotion here. I'm doing a poll at this moment. I'm about to pull it up. If you would please go vote on it. I'm asking people to go vote on who they think will win the championship at this point of the season. I put the top Chevy, the top Ford, and the top Toyota in the standings right now. And then I also put another tab. So you can put another driver if you want in there. So yeah, there you go. And if you comment, if you go and comment your driver who you think is going to win the championship, or if you simply like another comment, like there's a bunch of Larson Bell or Christopher Bell comments, you go like that, I count it as a vote. So right now we have 281 votes. So it's simply just go to my community post, scroll down a bit, get to this poll, and give me a vote. So I would much appreciate that. But yes, I got so distracted. Shane Van Gisbergen, we did his recap last night. As I said last night, the easiest oval racing to adapt to for a non-NASCAR driver, a young NASCAR driver, the best shot to get your first winner, your first top 10, your first top 5, it's going to be a super speedway. There's carnage, there's chaos, there's craziness everywhere. Everyone's pretty much equal in a sense. The draft is such a big factor. Like, if we went in the preseason, if you had to bet on where Shane Van Gisbergen's first top 10 was going to be on an oval in the Cup Series, I would have bet the house on Atlanta, Daytona, and Talladega. That's just how it works. Now, he could go get a top 10 somewhere else. They've ran so many intermediates that... What's our next intermediate? Dover? Well, Dover's kind of tough. Darlington in the fall, maybe. Like, if he goes there and gets top 10, that's very possible. But for the most part, I would bet, Daytona in the fall or in August, I would guess, is his next best opportunity. So, yeah, it's gonna be... Yeah. It's just the easiest out of all the oval tracks to adapt to for a non-NASCAR driver, for a young NASCAR driver. Ultimately, I hate to use the word easy because it does take some skill to get up there to work the draft, like especially at Atlanta nowadays where you actually have to make moves, take runs, go high, go low, throw blocks. Like, it takes more skill at Atlanta, I would say, than Daytona, Talladega. Daytona, Talladega is pure strategy now. But that's your best chance at getting a top 10. And it's not to discredit like anyone. It's just how it is. Like, if you go statistically, you could go find every driver who finishes worse than 20th, heck, I'd say 25th in the points. If their best result's going to be at a super speedway, oval wise. So, yeah. I saw Ryan Blaney was on a podcast. I can't remember which one, and I haven't listened to it. I've only listened to Denny so far. So if I figure out what that is and wherever he said that, I will go figure that out, Denver. Yeah, Borderline Briar brings up a great point. Once again, a complaint about the NASCAR website. I come over here to the points. There's not a playoff option. We have 8 races left till the playoffs start. It sure would be nice to have a playoff option on the NASCAR.com website, but no. Let's go to Twitter. All right. You can see it there. So here's your playoff standings in the Xfinity Series. We have our winners. Nick Sanchez. I don't know where he was in the points prior to this race, but he was on that bubble really close, and he wins, and he is in the playoffs now. So we have Allgaier, Hill, Zilich, Jones, Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, Sanchez, all in the playoffs. Simple as that. Sam Mayer's in, I would say, and there's not going to be a bunch of winners in Xfinity, fortunately for Sam Mayer, so he's in unless there's a disaster. Carson Quapple's probably feeling pretty good, but everyone else is extremely nervous because if we get a new winner, that shifts the cut line. Well, actually right now it wouldn't because they're tied. So Jeb Burton would still be plus 20, Taylor Gray plus 28. It's just you don't have as much of a buffer. But looking at this bubble, I mean, this is crazy. We got a Haas factory team. I know technically it's their first year, but you got to also remember this is the former Stewart Haas racing team that won a bunch of Xfinity races, that won an Xfinity championship 2 years ago. This is what I would expect if they had 0 wins to have, a plus 136. Sheldon Creed at plus 0. That's kind of shocking. The fact that he's tied with the only other Ford, Ryan Sieg, that's like, what are we doing here? So I'm getting a little nervous for Sheldon Creed. It's getting late in the season. I know there's a lot of races where he could go win or he could pull away or whatever, but what's happening there? I mean, Jeb Burton's having an outstanding year. Harrison Burton, -1. Outstanding year. I guess he's also a Ford, so I misspoke on that. And then I would say Eckes on down probably has to win. I mean, theoretically, they could get chunks, 8 points at a time, and they can make it. But let's be realistic. I'm going to say they're going to have to win at this point. So there's your Xfinity bubble. Cup bubble. We got to go a picture of a TV from Peter Strada, by the way. He has some good stuff, so I'd recommend you guys checking him out, his website and all that. So, yeah, here's your playoff cutoff line because the NASCAR app the NASCAR website does not have a playoff feature. So we have all our winners. We have all 12 winners. By the way, another new winner. We talked about it last week. Since the summer began, it's just been new winners. Chastain at Charlotte, Blaney at Nashville, SVG at Mexico, Chase Briscoe at Pocono, and Chase Elliott at Atlanta. Now, some of these guys, they were due for a win, like Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and then even Briscoe and Blaney. That's not too big of a shot because they're in such great equipment. And even SVG, like he's going to win a road course at some point. So it's not like it's been mind-blowing winners. It's not like Cody Ware went out and won Atlanta. Riley Herbst went out and won Pocono. But it still does a lot to this red line. Like Ryan Preece was in the playoffs like 2 weeks ago. So, I don't know. But in terms of the points, Reddick is still safe unless we keep getting winners. Then in that case, he's not safe. Busher, once again, if we get another winner, he is not safe. But if it stays like this, then I guess they're good. Bowman needs to win. I'm literally, after what happened last year, if you're Bowman on down, it's a must win. I'm going to say right now, like it's crazy what happened last year. We had 2 winners in the final 2 weeks of the regular season that completely shift. Like Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, and Ross Chastain were all like plus 60 entering Daytona. None of them made the playoffs. Like it was that crazy, man. So Bowman on down, I'm just going to declare it right now. That's a must win. Like we may end up getting 2 guys in on points, but if you want to play it safe, you got to win right now. So, anywho. Let's see. I'm very behind on comments. Apologies. Thank you, Borderline Briar, for the reminder to go to the playoff bubble. Cameron says, have you seen the Icebergs NASCAR driver ratings? And if so, do I agree? I've not seen it, so I cannot agree or disagree. I'm sure we could power rank or rate drivers at some point. We can get to that in a bit. I'm very, very far behind. So, yeah, Tyler Hernandez, that's in stage one, after stage one, when like Cindric won the stage, Logano finished third, Barry finished fourth. Like, even with Blaney's crash, I subbed him out for Kyle Busch. He was like 18th at the time, and I was like, man, I'm like 8th right now. Like, I'm going to have a great fantasy day. This is fantastic. Then stage 2 starts, and, well, yeah, man, it went horrible. Absolutely awful. Yeah. I mean, I've never been great at NASCAR fantasy, but I've never been this bad. It's been a rough year. It's rough, man. Yeah, man, the NASCAR app, the NASCAR website has been extremely frustrating this season. Last year, it was elite. They had every statistical category. Like, you could come over here and you could click on wins, and it would reshuffle, reorganize everyone in order of how many wins, top 5s, top 10s, DNFs, laps led. But now it doesn't do that. And also, it doesn't work on Sunday nights. Or the NASCAR app, or the NASCAR website. Sorry, the NASCAR app has playoffs, the playoff standings, but the NASCAR website does not. NASCAR, maybe that means they're killing the playoffs. Let me dream. Yeah, it's frustrating. Some things they improve, some things they don't, but I've been extremely frustrated with this website this year. It's been a frustrating experience, so. It said that Brad won. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Dude, if Elliott got disqualified, that would have been crazy. Oh, David. So David says that William Byron has locked up the regular season championship. David, 2 weeks ago, I might have given you that. Not anymore. Byron hasn't exactly slipped, but I think it's that Elliott specifically, they're on a hot streak. Elliott has 3 straight top 5s. They've scored a lot of stage points. They picked up the win, whereas Byron crashes out at Atlanta in stage number 2. I don't think he scored any stage points. Internet, please work. I'm begging you. Okay. Maybe it's just this tab. We're going to X out of this tab, try to save ourselves. Okay, well, that worked. All right, cool. It was just that tab. That's good to know. When we come over to Byron's stats here, 37th at Atlanta, 27th at Pocono. Byron, even a 28th at Michigan, they've had a bad 4 weeks here. And I know they got the top 10 at Mexico and whatnot, but they've had a rough few weeks, and that's really kind of blown this big lead that Byron at one point, I think he had more than a race lead on Kyle Larson. Well, all of a sudden, we come back here. Larson and Elliott are within a race again. And don't get me wrong, this is a good chunk of points they got to overcome, but if Byron continues this skid he's on, this championship is not wrapped up for Byron. So they're gonna have to pick it up. They're gonna have to run much better. They're gonna have to win some more stages. I don't even know how many stage wins they have. 7, I guess, if we're doing math. Good job, NASCAR website. Don't even have stage wins on here. So yeah, they got to pick it up. Elliott has been really hot right now, so they just got to keep doing what they're doing. Larson's kind of, I don't know if cold streak's the right word, but ever since the whole Indy 500 Charlotte debacle, whatever you want to call that, it feels like just something has been off there. I don't think they've led a lap since Charlotte. They got a top 5 at Michigan, I think. Top 10 at Nashville. But the top 10 at Nashville, they literally just ran 8th at best. It wasn't like they ran up in the top 3, slid back late in the race, had a pit road penalty they had to overcome. They just were not good that day by their standards. Michigan, Mexico, they crashed out early. Atlanta, they get involved in an early crash, never recover. This team has been off the last 5 weeks. This team has been off the last 4 weeks. This team has been on the last 4 weeks. So it's almost like the Hendrick dynamic has shifted from these two being the best by far to all of a sudden these two are struggling and this guy's picking up all the slack. And Bowman's had a good run of it here too, I think. Obviously, he's had a few crashes and whatnot, but I mean, look at his last 3 finishes. A top 5 at, finishing position. A top 5 at Mexico. Top 15 at Pocono. A 3rd place finish in Atlanta. He led a bunch of laps at Atlanta too. So, I don't know, man. It's weird what's happening, I guess. Now that I say it out loud, Hendrick's been really weird the last 4 weeks. The NASCAR app does not cater for truck racing. I don't think I used it much during the truck race, so not sure. Cameron says if a driver only won 1 race in the season and became champ, what race would that be where people wouldn't discredit the title win as being lucky? That happened in 2003, Cameron. That's the reason we have this system. Matt Kenseth won the championship in 2003 with 1 win. But he also had 33 top 10s in 36 races. So people were super mad, oh, this guy only won 1 race. He didn't even dominate the season. He wasn't the best, blah, 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 blah. They had 33 top 10s in 36 races. Let me pull up Racing Reference. Okay? I would rather have that. A guy get 1 win all year, but be so damn consistent that he's able to win the championship, than have a guy be 17th in the points, win a few races at the right time, get a couple things to go their way, and then win the championship. So I'm a big fan of a season-long format. I know some people aren't. I guess you could say I'm hell-bent on it, but I love the season-long format. Okay, so let's see here. 2003... 25. Okay, 25. I was a little bit off. It was not quite 33. I was way off. So if we come over to Matt Kenseth here. Look at this. Average finish, 10.3. That's what Chase Elliott has right now. Chase Elliott's having a Matt Kenseth 2003 season. 10.3 average finish. Lead lap finishes 31. Maybe that's the number I thought of. Oops, my bad. But 31 lead lap finishes, 25 top 10s, 11 top 5s, 1 win. And if we go to the actual breakdown of 2003, the 1 win was at Las Vegas. Look at the finishers. 3, 4, 8, 2, 6, 9, 22, 9, 7, 2, 7, 3, 4, 14, 6, 12, 3, 13, 2, 8, 9, 4, 14, 7. He had a couple of bad finishes here. Talladega, looks like one of them was a DNF. The other one, he finished 40-something laps down. And then he ends up not finishing the final race of the season. Outside of that, their worst finish was freaking 22nd. So, dude, I don't know what you want. I don't know what people want. I want a season-long format. I think that's the most legitimate way to crown a motorsport champion, but unfortunately, some other people don't think that way. So if Chase Elliott went and won 1 race this year, Atlanta's his only win, but he has a 10.3 average finish like Matt Kenseth did, scores 25 top 10s, 11 top 5s, and wins the championship, I'm going to say good job, Chase Elliott. You were the best team all year because you were the most consistent and you scored the most points. But if Chase Elliott went out this year, won Atlanta, they only had 4 top 10s entering the playoffs, they win a race in that first round, or let's just say they don't even win a race in that first round. They squeak out of the first round. The second round, they win. The third round, they win. And then they win at Phoenix. But they were 13th or 14th in the actual points. That doesn't sit well with me. So, that's just me. Once again, I know some people like the playoffs. Some people like the 10-race chase. It's not for me. We're talking about it for the billionth time on this channel. But, yeah. So, I just don't think that way, Cameron. I wouldn't discredit a title like that, but I try not to discredit titles and whatnot. But anywho, Denver. This question's been sitting here for a while. I apologize. But the rule is if there are 17 winners, Mike is correct. Whoever the lowest in the points is and all of the winners ends up getting booted from the playoffs. So, but if you have 2 wins, you're safe. So like Shane Van Gisbergen was mentioned, if SVG wins at Chicago next week, he's in the playoffs. Like nothing can take him out of the playoffs at that point. But if we get 5 more winners and the winners are Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, then Shane Van Gisbergen would miss the cut unless he goes on some miracle run and is able to pass someone on points. How do I feel about supercar drivers coming out? I love it, Mike. Not just supercar drivers. I love it when any driver comes over. Whether it's Helio Castroneves from IndyCar, whether it's Kimi Räikkönen, the XF1 world champion, whether it's, a supercar driver, whether it's an endurance racer like Jordan Taylor was in the Truck Series race this week. I think that's so cool. I think it's so fun that other people from other regions, different forms of motorsport, that they want to come over and try NASCAR. Like they genuinely want to. It's not like they're being forced to. It's not like it's some sponsorship deal they signed. Like they said, hey, I want to go way out of my way to try a NASCAR race. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's epic. So whether it's Will Brown, whether it's Cam Waters doing the trucks, like whoever it is, or Kimmy or Kvyat, like Jack Villeneuve, like the most random people, I don't care. I think it's extremely fun. I think it's epic. So I love it. I'm sure some people don't like it, which I guess they're allowed their opinions, but I think it's super cool. So that's just me. Jamie, welcome. The lifelong Logano fan. Monty. Yeah, I think you commented that when we were talking about the regular season title battle. Yeah, it would be really exciting to see if Chase Elliott, if he wins the regular season title, and especially if he does it like kind of like the Matt Kenseth style, like if Elliott just finishes top 20 the rest of the regular season, Byron, Larson have a couple of DNFs, and that would just be so funny if you ask me. But anywho, I don't know. You could also argue Elliott's due for a bad finish. So, what? I did not click that. Yeah. Tori says, I remember watching in the 90s, we had a champion before the last race. I mean, yeah, it's going to happen, Tori, where it's going to happen. We're going to see a driver just absolutely kill everyone. Like Kyle Larson in 2021 won 10 races, was far and away the best team. That's going to happen sometimes, where a driver, they're so good that nobody is close to them, and they're going to clinch the championship 3 races early, 2 races early. It's going to happen every once in a while. It doesn't make those last 2 to 3 races meaningless because you can still go win trophies. You can go race those races as the current champion. I think that would be something really cool for that team specifically. But it also, on the flip side of that, Tori, it makes a close championship battle that much special. When we have a down to the last race championship every single year, it doesn't feel special at all, to me at least, because we know it's coming. It's forced upon us. Whereas 1992, when we had 3 guys battling for a championship after a 32 race season, 33 race season, after 30 plus races, all 3 guys entered that final race with a chance to win the championship. We didn't know who was going to win the championship entering that race. That's special. I'm talking about it here 33 years later. Like, that is a special championship. That is a special finish to a season. But let's say 1992 had the playoffs and those 3 enter that race because they all made the final 4, plus a 4th guy. it wouldn't feel as special, I don't think. So when it's more authentic, when it's more fun, when it's not kind of forced upon you, thrown in your face, I just think it's better that way. But that's just me. Borderline Briar, we'll get to Monday picks in a bit. Not quite there. Monty says, I would be thrilled if Kyle Busch won something this year, but I'm not feeling it. Yeah, Kyle Busch, early on this year, I actually felt better about him. Like, after that Coda run, I think they had to, like, let's go to Kyle Busch's stats this year. Down to 20th in the points. He's led 62 laps. Woo, look at all those career highlights. So early in the year, they started out really hot. Top 10 at Atlanta, top 5 at Coda, led the most laps in that race, top 10 at Phoenix. Since then, though, they just haven't had it. It's been a rough go. They had a top 10 at Darlington, but yeah, man. I don't know what you got to do at RCR. I really don't know what they got to do, but it sucks to see it for Kyle Busch. Everything he's achieved in the sport, and for so long it seemed like he was going to catch Dale Earnhardt on the all-time wins list, but now it's just kind of come to a screeching halt in terms of the winning and whatnot. So I think it'd be really cool for him to snap that winless streak. But yeah, RCR still off despite making some changes. I don't know what they got to do, man. I don't know what they got to do. But, they're getting outran by their own equipment, by AJ Allmendinger right now. So, yeah, I don't know what they got to do. Will Toyota see a current Toyota Cup driver win their first Cup championship this year? Obviously, Denny and Bell are their best shots. Tyler Reddick's kind of like in the Chase Elliott situation where they've been... Okay, in fact, let's look at his stat profile. I bet it's the same thing as Chase Elliott. His 24th has got to be his worst finish. Okay, 26th. Okay, 32nd. All right. Tyler Reddick's been running consistently, but they're nowhere near where they were last year. Leading laps, being the regular season champion. They haven't had winning speed anywhere that I can think. Even Homestead, a track that Reddick is so good at. Vegas, 24th. Darlington, they were top 5. Okay. That's a track he's really good at. Kansas, 17th. 2311 has arguably been the most disappointing team this year. Reddick wins 4 races last year, makes the championship 4. And I know Bubba missed the playoffs, but he was top 12 in the points most of the year. It's just that we had so many odd winners that bumped him out. But maybe the same thing as front row. It's an expansion team now. It's their first year with 3 full-time cars. They have that lawsuit hanging over their heads. I don't know. Just 2311, they've seemed off this year too. They've 112 laps led by Reddick, 103 led by Bubba. Herbst, I think, has only led 1. Yeah, Herbst has led 1. They've only led 215, 16 laps. 2311's been extremely disappointing this year. So I don't think, as of today, any 2311 car is winning the championship. Bell and Hamlin are really Toyota's only hopes right now. So, they got a bunch of playoff points. They're up in the top 5 in points. They can win almost every single week. I'd take the road courses out of the equation for Denny. Christopher Bell, though, he can win anywhere. So, I don't know what 2311's problem is. Chase Briscoe's in his first year with JGR. He's still learning the ropes. And then Ty Gibbs is nowhere to be found. We got to go all the way down here to 24th in points. He's led 97 laps on the year, 3 top 10s. And Legacy, as big of a step forward Legacy has made, we got to compliment them on that. They're not quite championship ready. And speaking of Legacy, Jimmy Johnson did a podcast with Marty Smith, ESPN reporter, and he says in this interview that they they're looking at a third team. Now there's this lawsuit. Speaking of lawsuits, there's a lawsuit between Legacy Motor Club and Rick Ware Racing, where Legacy Motor Club is allegedly, or they say that Rick Ware Racing is going to sell them a charter for 2026. That's what Legacy Motor Club claims. Rick Ware Racing claims that they had this deal in place for 2027. That's what the lawsuit is. Jimmy Johnson in this interview says Legacy Motor Club wants to be a 3-car team next year, but at the absolute latest, 2027. So Legacy Motor Club looking to expand. That means another car on the grid. That means another driver in a seat. So who could be in that third Legacy Motor Club car? My mind immediately goes to Corey Heim, Toyota development driver, 2311 contract. He's been killing it in the trucks. What more does he need to prove? I think he would be the first name that comes to mind, but they could obviously go poach someone. They could go steal someone. They could go sign a veteran in free agency. They could go steal another prospect. They could go sign dare I say it, they could go for a big name like a Connor Zilic. They could go for a Jesse Love. So that's obviously a possibility, but when or if and when they do end up expanding, I'm curious to who they sign. That was the whole point of me putting it. Cody Ware is in an Arby's commercial. So that's great for NASCAR that they got commercials promoting their drivers and whatnot, but I would have never guessed that Cody Ware would be in an Arby's commercial, but here we are. And then, okay, one more tweet. Spire Motorsports, as I said, I love the talk trashing that we have with this in-season tournament. Well, Spire Motorsports decided to trash talk Ryan Blaney because Hocevar eliminated Blaney, and Blaney says, still owe y'all for this one. Thanks for reminding me when Hocevar dumped Blaney at Atlanta in the spring. So could you imagine if this actually re-triggered Blaney into getting revenge on Hocevar? That would be funny. Anywho, we've looked at that. We've looked at that. Man, we're running out of tabs here. How many years before Coach Gibbs gives winless Ty an ultimatum? It's family. I mean, I don't think it'll happen. I mean, respectfully, Cody Ware's still in the 51, so Ty Gibbs is going to be in the 54 as long as he wants to be in the 54. Unless Joe Gibbs retires and someone else takes over the team, I don't see Ty Gibbs losing that seat. How old is too old to keep racing if the wins never come for Kyle, says Cameron. I think, he's still winning truck races, and I think Kyle Busch does want to become the first driver to win all 3 championships. He's won an Xfinity title. He's won a Cup title. I think he eventually wants to win a trucks title. So the question would be, at what point does he think he's not capable of doing that? And obviously he would first have to realize that his hopes are up of winning another Cup title, of winning a bunch of more races. And he's not that old. I think he just turned 40, so he's still got a few years left, I would argue. But I think the biggest thing would be, does he want that trucks title? If he truly wants that trucks title, then maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. But if he doesn't care about the truck title, then he could go another 5 years in Cup. Who knows? So, and it also depends on RCR. What if RCR turns it around? What if RCR in 2 years, all of a sudden, they're popping off wins left and right, and then Kyle Busch is a championship contender again? Or it could flip. What if RCR falls off more of a cliff, and they're running 27th in the standings with Kyle Busch? Then what's Kyle Busch going to do? He's got to get out of RCR, but who's going to take him at that age? So, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, though. So, I guess it depends on how motivated he is to race in Cup, and then also if he wants a championship in trucks. Philip Keep. Yes, Philip, we will get to the Chicago entry list here in a minute. We're reaching the end of our time, but we'll get to our Monday picks here in a minute. Cam Waters in Xfinity at Chicago. I thought that they were trying to get a deal for him initially, but it appears not, because I feel like they would have announced that already. He's already over here in the States for the truck race, or he already did it. I don't know if he already went back home, but, if there was a last-minute deal, obviously it would have to be a Ford. But we can look at the entry list here in a minute. Brock, welcome. Jamie, yeah, I'm on Twitter way more than I should be. I'm sorry. It's kind of like Atlanta and Echo Park. I'm not going to call it Echo Park. I'm not going to call it X. I'm going to call it Twitter, and I'm going to call it Atlanta Motor Speedway. You can call me a bozo. You can yell at me. I really do not care. I just want to call it Twitter and Atlanta. If you got a problem with that, I guess you can yell at me. It won't change my mind. So, sorry. I guess. Yeah, Zero Apex, the Xfinity race this week is going to be fun. Unfortunately for Cup, I got to do it. Unfortunately, I have to do this, ladies and gentlemen. I have to bring up... It's happened the last 2 years at this racetrack, and I got to do it again. Oh my God. Did it change? Oh my goodness. There's been a change. It's a miracle. It's not really a miracle. It's the fact that we're 6 days out. Weather can change. It can also flip the other way, but look at this. Just a couple of hours ago, this had rain and lightning. Now it's a beautiful sunshine. 5%. I gotta compose myself. This could flip. This could very easily flip. I don't know if I'm quite to the level of weather nerd. I'm overly aware of the weather. When it comes to wherever I am, I'm always looking at the National Weather Service Severe Prediction Center. I'm always looking at wherever NASCAR is. What are the rain chances this week? Chicago looked ugly. It said like 60% of rain this morning or last night. But now look at it. It's beautiful. Did I put in Chicago, Illinois? Ooh. Okay, I put in Chicago, Illinois. Oh my goodness. Please stay like this. Please do not rain in Chicago. We can't do this again. We deserve one dry Chicago race. One. The fans in Chicago deserve one dry Chicago race. Please do not rain. I am begging you, Chicago weather. Be normaler. Anywho, something shiny. Anti-waffle says, I like pancakes better. I gotta screenshot that. That's the funniest thing. I'm actually screenshotting this. How do I... Saved on my iPod phone. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So we're talking about Chicago now. We are officially shifting to Chicago mode. Let's talk about the Chicago street. Sorry, I forgot to charge my laptop last night, and I needed to get it to a certain percentage. We're at 81% now. Chicago entry list. As always, we're going to go through Xfinity. Supercars fans, if you are watching this right now, this is the weekend for you. You are going to cry this weekend, tears of joy. Do you know why? You got Shane Van Gisbergen in both races. Street race at Chicago, you got him in the Xfinity and Cup. You got Jack Perkins in the Xfinity race, and you got Will Brown in the Cup race. It is your dream this weekend. So, pay close attention at Chicago. The whole point of me saying that. But let's go through our entry list this week. We got some normal. Oh gosh, more William Sawalich talk. Then we got our first notable entry. Our first notable entry in the WeatherTech Red Bull. Remember, SVG and Connor Zilic are having dueling Red Bull WeatherTech paint schemes. I will make posts of everyone's paint schemes at some point to inform you guys or to remind you guys of the paint schemes this week, what car to look for all you supercars fans. But SVG is in the Junior Motorsports number 9 car, sponsored by WeatherTech and Red Bull. Coming down the order, we got Connor Mozak. He has been a road course racer, I believe. He's good at the road. He will be in the number 14 for SS Greenlight Racing. The 19 is going to be Jack Perkins. It is not listed here, but we all know it is indeed Jack Perkins in the 19 car, sponsored by Shaw and Partners. Remember, it's a big holiday here in the United States. Friday is the July 4th, and that's the Independence Day in the United States. So that's our big holiday, our big national holiday. So it will be a red, white, and blue car, I believe, if I remember correctly. Kaz Grala, another guy who has had some good road course racing. He will be in the 24 Sam Hunt Racing car. Blaine Perkins, no relation to Jack, I believe. 35 car, 125 years old. Don't know who's going to be there. Coming down the order, 53 car, also 125 years old. Good for them. That's it for the Xfinity Series field. So make your picks. Monday picks for the Xfinity Series race at the Chicago Street Race. Potentially the final Chicago Street Race. Who is going to win in downtown Chicago? David says Connor Zilic is going to win the Xfinity race at Chicago. Denver says, my prediction is SVG for Cup and Xfinity. Will be fun watching Will Brown and SVG duke it out. It would be hilarious. Jack Perkins, the supercar pit reporter, won the Xfinity race. Will Brown's in Cup. We'll get to him in a minute. Tori says SVG sweeps. Zero Apex says the SVG sweeps. Borderline Briar going with Dean Thompson. That threw me off. Jamie is going to go with Connor Zilic. Yeah, Brett, you guys are going to have a very early morning if you're watching this race. Justy8056 is going with Daniel Dye. Fun fact, Daniel Dye is going to spot for Will Brown on Sunday in the Cup race. Monty's going with SVG for Xfinity. SVG is in between the lanes' his Xfinity pick. Some of you guys are going crazy with Chris Wright, Parker Retzlaff, and Harrison Burton. Okay, Harrison Burton's actually had a really good season. Sam Mayer's a great road course racer, anti-waffles. The Pancakes lover is going with Sam Mayer. Hadzi, hello, welcome. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Carson Quapple, okay, for Todd 1010. Hadzi is going with SVG. So we got a lot of Shane Van Gisbergen picks. We got a couple of Connor Zilic picks. We've got some random picks. We got a Jeb Burton in there, Chris Wright, Parker Retzlaff, Daniel Dye. Yeah, Xfinity, Chicago, don't think this is his playground. Shane Van Gisbergen, Xfinity, that's just feels like a borderline lock. Junior Motorsports, Hadzi. Junior Motorsports is the best team on the grid in the Xfinity Series field, so he's going to be in the best car. But it is his first Xfinity race this year, so I don't know if that's going to play. I doubt it will. But it's Chicago, a track that he's won at both series. Shane Van Gisbergen's going to win the Xfinity race. So now we move to the Cup Series. NASCAR Cup Series. Oh boy. We have a bonus Monday pick. That's right. We have a bonus Monday pick. For the first time since 2018, there will be a DNQ at a non-Daytona 500 event. May I specify? There will be a did not qualify at a non-Daytona 500 event. So that means our first Monday pick is going to be who misses the race. The open drivers, the drivers that could potentially miss the race, are Will Brown in the number 13 Colleague Racing car, Austin Hill in the RCR 33, Josh Bilicki in the 66, Corey Heim in the number 67, Catherine Legg in the 78. Those are the 5 cars who could miss. So everybody tell me, who do you think will miss the Chicago Street Race? It's either going to be Legg, Heim, Bilicki, Austin Hill, or Will Brown. Very quickly, right off the bat, Tori, Justy8056, Nikolai P. Culp Fan 2000 says Legg. Borderline Briar says Bilicki. Mike says Legg. Brock is going to go with Legg. Jamie's going to go with Legg. Zero Apex is going to go with Bilicki. Suarez Fan 000 is Legg. Monty is going with Legg. I am actually going to go against you guys. Legg, a very popular pick to miss the race. I'm going to actually go Josh Bilicki. Don't get me wrong. The 78 and 66, when it's not a super speedway, those cars are slow. But Catherine Legg's got, and Josh Bilicki's got road experience too, but Catherine Legg's got a lot of experience on the road courses. She's done endurance and whatnot, I think, if I remember correctly. Like, I don't know. Gut feeling. Catherine Legg makes it. Bilicki, I think that's who misses it. Obviously, Catherine Legg, a very popular pick to miss the race in these comments, but I'm going to go with Bilicki. So let's move on to who actually wins the 3rd ever Chicago Street Race in the Cup Series. We already pointed out our notable entries because our notable entries were the potential D&Qs. So with that being said, who do you think wins the Chicago Street Race? Everyone get a look at the sponsors. We got Busch Light Apple on the 1, Discount Tire, Brez Tree. They have so many commercials. Oh my goodness. I don't know who's sponsoring the 4, but okay. Valvoline is on the 5 car. Oh my goodness. After what happened last year? Kroger's on the 6. Gainbridge on the 7. Slurpee is on the 8. Oh, it's almost 7-Eleven. I now live like less than 3 miles away from a 7-Eleven. I can get my free Slurpee. So exciting. So everyone get yourself a look. Will Brown's in the Mobile X car. I believe it's going to be a black and green car. I will post the paint scheme at some point. Celsius on the 16. Craftsman's on the 20. Going down the list once again. WeatherTech's on the 88. So, let's read these Monday picks. Chicago Street Race. Jamie, thank you. I appreciate you. Andy's going to go with Shane Van Gisbergen. Justy8056 is going with Brad. It's a wild pick. We got more bonus Monday picks after this. Monty is going with Shane Van Gisbergen. Horsefly1020 is going with Shane Van Gisbergen. Cash.gg is going with Todd Gillen. Todd's a solid road racer, so he could be an upset pick. Anti-Waffles is going with Zane Smith. Jamie is going on 7-7, the 77 of host of our wins. All right. SVG is Tori's pick with the wild card being Ty Gibbs. Stenhouse is Jokes on You LOL's pick. Mike is going with SVG. Brock is going with SVG. Gamer Garrett sucks, says Cody Ware, as we all expect. Clausen Z saying SVG Elliott Bowman. Spoiler is going with Daniel Suarez. That would be quite the Trackhouse shock, I think. Yeah, so I went SVG in Xfinity. Rooste underscore 93 is going with the SVG sweep. Waffles sucks. Man, this guy who hates Waffles, I don't know if he has a second account or if like a bunch of people hate Waffles, but going with Ty Dillon. Dude, I think the Waffles guy has like 3 accounts of hating Waffles. Actually, I'm not going to go with Shane Van Gisbergen in the Cup race. I tell you who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, if you remember, that first Chicago Street Race was dominating that race. Then the call comes that they got to shorten the race because they don't have enough light, right? And that came when he had just pitted. He was running like 23rd at the time. That ruined their race. The second year of the Chicago Street Race, they're running really well again. I think they won a stage last year, and they end up going through the field, slicing and dicing, leading that group of guys on fresh tires, on dry tires, running over, passing everyone on the wet tires, and then they get wiped out. Tyler Reddick ends up choking away the win because he hits the wall. That would have been Christopher Bell if it wasn't for getting wrecked by whoever wrecked him. So I'm actually going to go different on Cup. I'm going to go Christopher Bell for the Cup Series win. Now it's time for more Monday picks, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Polly's going with William Byron. We got to pick the in-season challenge. Who advances? My bracket has gone to poo-poo. So everyone has to make their Monday picks for each matchup. First matchup, Ty Dillon or Brad Keselowski? Who advances? Ty Dillon, Brad Keselowski. Let's go. We're going to rapid fire these, so everyone get in your picks. Brad or Ty Dillon? Progressive Luigi 100 says Ty Dillon. Go Away says Ty Dillon. Horsefly 1020 says Catherine Legg. Catherine Legg's not in the in-season tournament. Oh, everyone's going with Ty Dillon. Monty's going with Ty Dillon. Brock's going with Ty Dillon. Denver's going with Ty Dillon. Mike is going with Ty Dillon. Everyone's going with Ty Dillon. Spoilers go. Oh my goodness. It's a clean sweep for Ty Dillon. Screw it. I'll jump on it. Ty Dillon. Brad's really bad at the road courses. That's my logic there. Waffle Sucks is going with Ty Dillon. David's going with Ty Dillon. Jamie, the lone Brad Keselowski picker. Jamie, you may be the hero for Brad Keselowski. Yeah, Denver. Brad Keselowski's pretty bad on the road courses. Next matchup, we have Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace. Who is going to advance? Bowman, Bubba, Bowman, Bubba. Rapid fire Monday picks, people. Come on. Who's going to advance in the tournament? Bowman or Bubba? Nikolai P. Colt Fan 500 is going to go with Bubba Wallace. Denver is going to go with Bowman. Brock is going to go with Bowman. That's where the comments stopped. Monty's going to go with Bowman. Borderline Breyer's going to go with Bubba. We got a little bit more of a split on this one. Zero Apex is going to go with Bubba. Roosty Rooste is going to go with Bowman. Klaus NZ is going to go with Bowman. Suarez Fan 000 is going to go with Bubba. Andy's going to go with Bowman. David's going to go with Bowman. Jamie's going to go with Bowman. Mike's going to go with Bowman. Progressive Luigi 100 is going to go with Bubba. Bubba has massively improved on the road courses over the last couple of years. Waffles X Ozzy's going to go with Bubba. This is a tough one because Alex Bowman is a very underrated road racer, in my opinion. Just got a top 5 at Mexico. He's always been really good at COTA. Of course, he's the defending winner of the Chicago Street Course. But I don't know, man. We've seen how the defending winner of the Chicago Street Race goes. We have a sample size of one. One year, finished last the next year. I think I'm going to go with some of you guys. I'm going to go with Bubba. Bubba Wallace for the upset over Alex Bowman, meaning Bubba and Ty Dillon for a spot in the Final Four. All right, next one. As I said, guys, rapid fire. Rapid fire Monday picks. John Hunter Nemechek versus Chase Elliott. Who is going to advance? Oh, very quickly. Borderline Breyer says Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek. That would be an upset. Zero Apex is going to go with Chase Elliott. Nikolai P. Colt Fan 2000 is going to go with Nemechek. Brock is going to go with Chase Elliott, our most recent winner in the Cup Series. Denver's going to go with Chase Elliott. Once again, that's where it stopped. Andy's going to go with Elliott. Monty's going to go with Elliott. Tori's going to go with John Hunter Nemechek. Mike's going to go with Chase Elliott. Jamie's going to go with Elliott. Cash.gg is going to go with Nemechek. Anyone else? Anyone else want to make their picks here? Waffle Sucks is going to go with Nemechek. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. Hamlin Knight says Nemechek. Next up, we got Eric Jones and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Who advances? Rapid fire Monday picks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's hear it. Stenhouse, Eric Jones. Tori's going to go with Jones. Zero Apex is going to go with Stenhouse. Spoiler's going to go with Stenhouse. Brock is going to go with Stenhouse. Monty's going to go with Eric Jones. Borderline Breyer is going to go with Eric Jones. Mike is going to go with Stenhouse. David, we're talking about Stenhouse. Jones now. Stenhouse is going to go, or Denver is going to go with Stenhouse. Not Stenhouse is going to go with Denver. Spoiler is going to go with Jones. Andy is going to go with Jones. David is going to go with Jones. Jamie is going to go with Stenhouse. 5, 4, 3. This Sucks is going to go with Stenhouse. I'm going to go with Jones. I just watched Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull today, so I'm going to go with Eric Jones because logic. Paulie's going to go with Stenhouse. Now to this side of the bracket. Gregson versus Priest. Ready? Rapid fire Monday picks. Let's hear it. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's hear it. Gregson is going to be popping like a popcorn's pick. Epic name. Denver's going to go with Priest. Borderline Breyer's going to go with Gregson. Tori's going to go with Priest. Zero Apex is going to go with Priest. Monty's going to go with Priest. Mike is going to go with Priest. Nikolai Pete Colt Fam 2000 is going to go with Gregson. Brock is going to go with Gregson. Andy is going to go with Priest. Ryan Anderson 700 is going to go with Gregson. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big Bang 100 goes with Gregson. I'm going to go with Priest. Next up, Hocevar and Reddick. Rapid fire Monday picks. Who advances in the tournament? Go. Hocevar is Brock's pick. Reddick is Monty's pick. Funny name is going to go with Hocevar. Reddick is going to be Tori's pick. Hocevar is going to be Borderline Breyer's pick. Zero Apex is going to go with Reddick. Andy is going to go with Reddick. Mike is going to go with Hocevar. Nikolai P. Colt Fan 2000 is going to go with Hocevar. David's going to go with Hocevar. Jamie's going to go with Hocevar. Suarez Fan 000 is going to go with Hocevar. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm going to go with Reddick. Cash.gg is going to go with Hocevar. 2 to go, people. 2 to go. Allmendinger and Gibbs. That's going to be a fun one. All right, let's hear it. Ready? Set. Rapid fire Monday picks. Let's go. Allmendinger versus Gibbs. Tori's going to go with Ty Gibbs. Borderline Breyer's going to go with Ty Gibbs. Oh, there we go. Denver's going to go with Allmendinger. Mike's going to go with Allmendinger. Nikolai P. Colt Fan 2000 is going to go with Allmendinger. Zero Apex is going to go with Allmendinger. Brock is going to go with Allmendinger. Suarez Fan 000 is going to go with Ty Gibbs. Andy's going to go with Allmendinger. Jamie's going to go with Allmendinger. David's going to go with Allmendinger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs. I think he ran really well here last year. Anywho, our last matchup, last in-season, oh, you can't see it. Last in-season tournament matchup right here. Zane Smith and Prosper, Texas' own Chris Buescher. Our final Monday pick, our final rapid fire Monday pick is Buescher, Zane Smith. Red is going to go with Zane. Borderline Breyer's going to go with Zane Smith. Tori's going to go with Prosper, Texas' own Chris Buescher. Denver's going to go with Buescher. Roosty_93 is going to go with Buescher. Monty is going to go with Buescher. Brock's going to go with Buescher. Suarez Fan 000 is going to go with Zane. David's going to go with Zane Smith. Todd 1010 is going to go with Zane Smith. Jamie's going to go with Buescher. Andy's going to go with Buescher. Mike is going to go with Buescher. Zero Apex is going to go with Buescher. Joke's on you, LOL. It's going to go with Zane Smith. Okay. And my pick, my final Monday pick. As embarrassing as this thing is, my champion is still alive. So I got to go with Prosper, Texas' own Chris Buescher. So, yeah, that's my final Monday pick. So, Jamie, I don't know. Someone will finish last. It's so hard to predict. But thank you guys for watching. Really enjoyed tonight. We got to make a ton of Monday picks. We basically had some bonus picks because we got to pick the in-season tournament picks and whatnot. But thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to everyone who made a Monday pick. Thanks to everyone who commented, left a like, all that fun stuff. Clausen Z, welcome to the club. You're a member now. Borderline Briar, I appreciate it. But everyone who showed up here tonight, I very much appreciate it. This week, any other news that comes up, I'll let you know. And then obviously this weekend we got the Chicago Street Race, so that should be fun. But hopefully, yes, Monty, great point. Hopefully it doesn't rain. That would be terrible. Roosty_93, I appreciate it. Denver, farewell. Jamie, we went through the fantasy standings. I'm still really bad.